Hello and welcome to Just In My Opinion. Today I'm looking at Etherloop, a self-described, hardcore, fast-paced, bullet hell with rogue-like elements. Honestly, that sentence by itself hooked me into playing this. It's been a long time since I enjoyed a solid bullet hell, and if you've watched this channel for a while, you know that I love me some roguelike. Now, before I dive into this, I just have to say, if you find this review helpful, informative, or anything like that, consider liking the video and subscribing. It helps make my videos more visible, and if you enjoyed this, someone else will too. Anyways, onto the game. Etherloop is interesting. I feel like it set itself up to be a lot, and the question is really going to be, does it deliver on any of it? Well, I'll start by looking at what's rogue about this game. When you die, you do start over. The items you acquire are random, and the layout of each level is also random. As of right now, the bosses are not random, be it the mini bosses on each floor or the big bosses at the end of each floor. So yeah, each run does feel different, but only sort of. The layouts are quite linear, so being randomly generated doesn't change all that much. The most random aspect of the game is what items you get, and honestly, this has, at least for me, a huge impact on how easy or difficult a run is. I think this is a result of combining rogue elements and bullet hell though. For those of us that aren't god tier bullet hell players, the speed at which you can effectively kill enemies has a direct link to the difficulty of the game. So when you bring in rogue elements that directly impact how fast or slowly you kill enemies, the variance in a run becomes significantly more impactful than in a more traditional roguelike game. From my perspective, the first and second floors were a game of gearing yourself up. Explore the floors fully, get as much stuff as you can. From there, killing the second boss was a test of my build and how successful the rest of the run would be. This is because the second boss was one of the most frustrating fights I've played in a while. I feel like the fight is somewhat RNG heavy in terms of pathing of the boss, which can directly impact the speed at which you kill it. Staying alive isn't too bad though. But this is why it was a gear check for me. If I could kill it quickly, we were in a good spot. From there, the game just spikes in difficulty. Floor 3 introduces ice physics, which there is no effective way to combat, bar one seemingly rare item. This floor also has a boss that's way more difficult than the first two, and I actually loved it. It was a challenge, and I got that spike in difficulty I expect from bullet hell games. It took me more plays than I'm willing to admit in order to get past the third floor, but regardless, it was fun. To loop back to the start of this review, Etherloop is interesting. There's a huge difficulty spike, but you feel like deaths are generally your fault, not the game's. So it creates this loop of dying and then wanting to immediately jump back in because you know you can do better. Now, I wish there was a little less RNG in how items affect playthroughs, but it's really hard to say truly, because if itemization was more straightforward, maybe the game would be a walk in the park and lose the challenge that I enjoyed. It's also not a very long game. There's a leaderboard to see who can clear each floor fastest, and maybe there isn't that much incentive to replaying the game once you've beaten it, but getting there is a lot of fun, and the developer will hopefully add more game modes in the future and expand on what's initially been laid out. All in all, I liked this game. It's cheap, it's fun, it lives up to what it promised, and the only complaint I have may not even be a complaint, because we don't always know what it is that we truly want. If you're interested in a fun little bullet hell game with roguelike elements, there's no reason not to give Etherloop a shot. And don't forget, this is just in my opinion. If you feel like I left something out, disagree, or want to suggest something else for me to review, leave a comment. I also stream on Twitch most nights of the week. Sometimes I play games I'm reviewing, other times I play Magic the Gathering, or a variety of other things. Check it out. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and check back weekly for more reviews and gaming content.